enduring elegance, and actually the surprising versatility of modest kaftans and kimono-style dresses.
Mm-hmm. And this deep dive is especially for you, the learner, if you're interested in how these flowing garments manage to blend, tradition and modernity so gracefully.
Right.
Particularly maybe if you appreciate clothing that offers comfort and style for the plus-size figure at any age, really.
Exactly. We've been looking into a really thoughtful discussion about the inherent grace and dignity these types of garments seem to embody.
Yeah, there's a certain quality to them.
Our mission today, I suppose, is to unpack why these designs resonate so strongly, how they offer empowerment, beauty, without feeling like you're compromising on anything.
And how that works across different parts of life, too.
Okay, so maybe to start, what's at the heart of it? What gives kaftans and kimonos this timeless expression that people talk about in fashion?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to their fundamental simplicity. It's what makes them so adaptable. They really do represent what you might call understated beauty. Unlike clothes that rely heavily on rigid structure or catching the latest trend, kaftans and kimonos are all about how they flow and drape. And that quality, that inherent movement, it's just naturally flattering.
That idea of flow and drape, that seems crucial, doesn't it? Especially when we're thinking about designs for plus-size figures.
Absolutely crucial.
It's about the garment working with your body, not against it.
Yes.
And these styles, they seem to genuinely celebrate the natural form, through all stages of life. They offer beautiful lines and that freedom of movement.
Totally. It's about feeling good, feeling comfortable, feeling confident. There's a real sense of liberation almost that comes from wearing something that isn't tight or restrictive. And when we dig into specific examples, the source material we looked at paints this really vivid picture of more luxurious styles. Styles described with a kind of regal grace.
Oh, I loved that description. And the fabrics mentioned velvet, georgette, silk charmeuse. You can practically feel them, can't you?
You really can.
How they'd move, how they'd feel against the skin. It's that quiet elegance, not shouting for attention.
Precisely. And what stands out is the focus on, skilled artistry. Things like the subtle glimmer of metallic thread embroidery. Or the rich texture you get from brocade borders, which often carry this sense of heritage and craftsmanship passed down. Even things like delicate hand-painted floral motifs. They add such a unique personal touch.
You really get a sense of the human hand in those details. It's lovely. And the designs themselves, they're described as being rooted in tradition, but somehow they still feel so, current. How do they strike that balance?
I think it's because the core design principles are just so enduring. Those flowing silhouettes, they're inherently comfortable and they adapt beautifully to different body.
Right.
Then you have the full-length sleeves, which offer ease, yes, but also a kind of graceful coverage.
Right.
And things like higher necklines combined with ankle-grazing hems, they create this wonderful sense of proportion. It's modesty, yes, but it's also about balance and grace, never constriction.
So it's a really considered approach to cut and form that doesn't rely on chasing, fleeting trends.
Exactly. It has longevity.
And where would these more luxurious styles really shine? The discussion pointed towards things like candlelit dinners, formal celebrations, or intimate evening affairs.
Yes, those kinds of occasions. They just have this natural poise, this sort of inherent dignity that fits perfectly in those settings.
Makes sense.
And the accessory suggestions really underline that. Feeling like a thoughtfully chosen clutch, maybe soft metallic flats so you have comfort, but still elegance.
Practical elegance.
Or perhaps a piece of vintage-inspired jewelry, something that adds a layer of personality or history. It's about those considered details amplifying the effect.
Yeah, pulling it all together. And the colors mentioned also felt very significant. Deep plum for nobility, antique gold bringing warmth, emerald suggesting wisdom.
Right? Ivory for purity, navy for that quiet strength.
Yeah.
It's interesting how colors carry those connotations.
It's like they're not just colors, they're part of the mood, part of the story the garment tells.
Definitely. They contribute to the whole feeling. But, the discussion also makes a really important point that this kind of elegance isn't just for big events.
Oh, absolutely. I really liked the concept of relaxed elegance.
Me too.
Thinking about feeling good in your own home, maybe pottering in the garden, or just having friends over for a casual visit.
Yeah, that everyday beauty.
And the shift in fabrics makes total sense there. Things like lightweight cotton, breathable silk. even that lovely sounding bamboo blend.
Things that feel good on the skin.
It's all about prioritizing comfort, isn't it? But without necessarily sacrificing style.
Exactly. And it's interesting to think about how what we wear affects our own sense of well-being, even when we're just by ourselves.
Totally.
The way those lighter fabrics are described, how they just fall and move with you, it really conjures up a feeling of ease, pure comfort.
And the design details become softer too, right?
Right.
Like gentle pastel tones, rose blush, pale blue, soft lilac that just infuse a sense of calm, or delicate prints, maybe a whisper of florals or a quiet geometric pattern, even just a touch of light embroidery, perhaps at the neckline or cuffs.
It's that subtle hint of sophistication.
Hmm.
It's for the woman herself, feeling good in her own space, not necessarily needing an audience.
Yes, it's about that internal feeling, that quiet confidence.
Absolutely. And the accessory suggestions for this kind of relaxed elegance fit right in, maybe going barefoot or wearing soft slippers.
Lovely.
Minimal jewelry, perhaps just studs, or a woven basket-style bag for popping out. It all reinforces that sense of ease and naturalness.
It just sounds so comfortable and chic at the same time. Perfect for lounging or the garden or, like you said, an impromptu afternoon tea.
Exactly. It really fits those everyday moments seamlessly.
It's a wonderful reminder that fashion can be a source of personal joy and comfort, even in the most ordinary parts of our day. It all feeds into that relaxed elegance idea.
Right.
Now, the discussion also took a fascinating detour into how these same garments, kaftans, kimonos, can be interpreted in a much more contemporary way. Sort of modern chic. What does that look like?
Yeah, that was interesting. It's about taking those fundamental ideas, modest coverage, flowing lines, but sort of reimagining them through a minimalist lens with maybe more focus on structure.
Okay, so less pattern, perhaps?
Often, yes. You see cleaner fabrics, sometimes monochrome, think dove gray, crisp white sand, maybe a rich terracotta. The emphasis shifts away from, say, lots of surface decoration towards the quality of the fabric itself and the actual cut.
Right, so the form becomes the focus rather than added embellishments. The source mentioned things like asymmetrical hems, layered panels, subtle contrast trims.
Yeah.
How do those create a modern feel?
Well, they add visual interest and a sense of intentional design without being fussy. An asymmetrical hem, for instance, can create a really dynamic line, a sense of movement. Layered panels can introduce depth and texture very subtly. In contrast, crims can define edges, giving it almost architectural quality sometimes.
Architectural, that's a great word for it. And there was that specific example of a kimono-style dress that really brought it to life.
Yeah, the one with maybe a single bold pleat or just a discreet side belt.
Right, it shapes the garment subtly, hints at the waist without clinging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And keeping the full sleeves nods to the traditional kimono shape, but then maybe playing with the hemline ankle length or those high-low curves that can make it feel much more contemporary and actually quite elongating.
You can definitely picture that, can't you? Someone wearing that to, say, an art gallery opening or a stylish brunch.
For sure. It strikes that balance between comfort and a really confident modern look. Perfect for city life, feeling put together but still at ease.
And the accessories suggested for this style also fit that picture, like bold eyewear framing the face.
Adds a bit of authority.
Minimalist jewelry that complements rather than competes.
Yeah?
And maybe a structured leather tote. It suggests someone stylish, but also, purposeful. Got places to be.
Definitely. They're very considered pieces for someone with a clear sense of personal style.
So when we step back and look at all these different facets, the traditional luxury, the relaxed everyday comfort, this modern minimalist chic, what's the common thread? What's the overarching message about why kaftans and kimonos hold this enduring appeal, especially perhaps for plus-size older women?
I think ultimately it's because they offer so much more than just being clothes to wear. For the plus-size older woman, they can truly, as the source put it, highlight, celebrate, and express her style and confidence.
It's not just about covering up.
Not at all. It's about how you present yourself to the world with grace, with self-assurance.
And they provide this wonderful refuge from the constant churn of fast fashion, don't they?
They really do.
The discussion described it as an invitation to settle into oneself with pride and purpose. That really resonated. It's about embracing the wisdom and experience that comes with age.
Exactly. It implies a kind of self-acceptance, a recognition that real style isn't about chasing youth. It's about embodying timelessness and the actual physical experience of wearing them. The swish of silk, the comforting weight of velvet, the line of embroidery. These things can become almost symbolic.
Symbolic of what, do you think?
Symbolic of the beauty of experience, perhaps.
Yeah.
Of wisdom, of a kind of radiant inner dignity.
So these garments become imbued with personal meaning over time. They're not just items off a rack.
Precisely. They become, as the discussion beautifully put it, stories, legacies, comforts, and quiet rebellions.
Quiet rebellions. I like that. A rebellion against what? Maybe?
Maybe against a fashion world that too often overlooks the inherent strength and beauty that comes with age and with diverse body sizes.
That makes a lot of sense.
It's truly about offering, quote, beauty on her terms. And that final image the discussion evokes.
Yes.
A woman just moving through her day, whether she's hosting guests or just enjoying her own garden, with that effortless grace, ease, and style. It's just incredibly powerful, I think.
It really ties everything together beautifully. It's not just about the clothes, is it? It's about the feeling, the confidence, how you inhabit your space in the world.
Absolutely. So, yeah, to sort of wrap up our deep dive, we've seen how kaftans and kimono-style dresses offer this really compelling, adaptable path to elegance, especially for the plus-size older woman. They fit into every corner of life, from grand events to quiet moments at home. They always prioritize comfort. They celebrate individual style. And they really stand as a testament to a kind of beauty that doesn't fade with time.
And that leaves us with a final thought for you, the learner, something to maybe mull over.
Okay.
Consider how incorporating some of these elements we've discussed, that sense of flow, maybe understated detail, fabrics chosen for comfort, how might that shift your own perspective on personal style? Could embracing those qualities help you move, perhaps, beyond chasing trends towards something more grounded, a more confident elegance that feels authentically you?
It's definitely food for thought, isn't it? Finding that style that feels like coming home to yourself.
Yes, exactly. Something worth